We're going to get fired. We're going to get fired. We're late. We're late. Hit the button. Hit the button.
It's Hot Top Sports where the takes don't miss. The prof with the stats, the champ with the fist. We're bringing fire, cowboy, out riding bold. Bulls calling bets, watch the stories unfold. And you do the eyebrows, running the show. It's Hot Top Sports, baby.
Let's get it. Let's go. Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to, in fact, the best day of the week here at High Top Sports. Good to see you. Happy to have you here. We got NASCAR on and One TV. Got you guys here right here hanging out with us. The class is going a little bit longer than anticipated, but we're here nonetheless. Got a lot to talk about. We had a fantastic presser today. We got to hear from not only Coach John Sumrall, but our other coaches in Buster Faulkner and Coach Brad White, who I've yet to hear from in a full capacity. We got able to hear that interview of Buster Faulkner with the interview with Sean Kelly. And I got to tell you, man, first kind of off dome, off the rip, you listen to all three of these guys talk. It feels like you have three head coaches talking to you, which was very refreshing, getting to hear all of their perspectives of how they want to coach their respective spots, whether it be the head coach, the defense, or the offense, and also to the common goal, the culture, the standard. Winning is what we heard a lot of today, which I loved hearing the word winning. So very excited to talk about all of that today with the crew. Of course, David Swolder joined us here, and then our man Hollywood hanging out with us. Gentlemen, good to see you. It's been a while, but happy to have you back. It feels like anytime we hit this live button, we've got great things to talk about. Swolder, talk to me, big guy.
Yeah, man, pumped for the interview here in a couple of weeks with John Sumrall. But I will say I'm always pumped for the best day of the week, and we have 131 reasons to talk about the pressers today, just like the 131 felony counts this Georgia player just got. That's on the timeline. But other than that, man, it's the best day of the week. It's Wednesday, baby. Let's get it. Let's go.
Never fails. Never fails.
Yeah,
Hollywood?
The excitement from Dave about the Georgia player more than anything else, I think, is what really fuels this podcast. So
always, any chance he gets to thrash another school, that's what makes his day. Not us being successful; it's the failure of everyone else. Is what
I don't hold back punches.
No. We real quick before we get started, I want to see if I'm alone in this category. I was reading a little space book to my son just moments ago, and it's about this little alien trying to find its home. And so he's flying through space, and then it's teaching you about the planets that you're flying through. Really, it's a great book. Like I learned stuff. Like I guess I think it's Neptune is the windiest planet. I didn't remember that. Thought that was pretty cool. Then of course you have Saturn. I think Uranus is on its side. All those good stuff, right? It's like, you're not my planet. You're on your side. And then it gets to Pluto, and it goes, you're not my. And then he goes, whoop, sorry, it's not a planet. It's a dwarf planet. And I had to tell my son this is a typo. That no, actually Pluto is a planet. Don't listen to this nonsense here in this book. And then me, Beckett, and Beep, the alien, move on to which is his planet is the Mars. I'm not alone in that camp, right? Pluto's a planet, right? Like we're not.
Yeah, it's really
we're all
cold
in agreement here, right?
It's a cold planet. Pretty
Hollywood,
cool.
you're about to have a kid. This is a big thing, dude. You can't just walk around like misinforming your kid. Am I like?
sure.
All right. I feel like
he's got the kid eyes right now.
Yeah, he's lost in the sauce. Yeah, I feel like you guys aren't understanding the importance of Pluto not being represented as a planet, and that's okay. The chat will understand my concern, and that's all that matters to me. Let's get out there, boys.
Hey, with our powers combined, Captain Planet, baby.
We might be able to bring it back.
That's a throwback show.
What's that?
It is Captain Planet.
Captain Planet.
Oh, I didn't.
Earth, Wind, Water, Fire, Heart. You know? All
right, definitely a planet. Glad the chat's all in. 250 strong, boys and girls. Smash the like button. Good to have you all here. So we had John Sumrall today. I mean, everything that he spoke about had me ready to run through a wall. And maybe I'm just got just beer glasses on, right? The drunk glasses is excited for anything that he has to say, but everything that he says, you're hanging on the edge of your seat, ready to hear what he has to go through. Spoke about this roster turnover, bringing back 62 guys, bringing in 50 new players, right? Spoke to that. Kind of reiterated his feelings on the portal and how much he loved it and wished we would have a second window. He said he was kind of in this camp alone about it. He even spoke. He had jokes, which you'll talk about, Dave. Very just candid with the entire presser, in my opinion, and even spoke about being in the SEC coaches group text, which I thought was funny. We're going to play some clips throughout some of my favorite clips. I'm sure you guys will have some things that I don't bring up that we'll get into, but I kind of have a good, I would say, timeline of his presser. So they get right into Rusty Witt in the first few minutes of the clip. So I'm going to play that first because that's the front half, and that's what I think it was Cam Parker that asked the question. Cam and Dylan were hitting some fire questions today, our guys from Sports Illustrated. So shout out to them with the hard-hitting questions. But they spoke about Rusty Witt, what he brings, and just their relationship. And I loved hearing about it because I never felt like we got that same type of passion about our other strength and conditioning coach. I think for Tyler Miles we did, but just you could tell again when Coach Napier said that, hey, the reason I got here was because of my play calling. John says I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Rusty Witt, and I've said this for the last 4 years that. And when he was coming over, I would be shocked if he didn't bring his strength and conditioning coach. I was unaware of who it was at the time, but I was like, these people are usually stuck at the hip. And he explains that process here. So let me get this clip pulled up, and then I'll let you all kind of rip from there about other things. Let me share my screen here, and then we'll get up after it.
Is established and reinforced in the weight room and in the training room for that matter. Tough teams win. Tough people win in this game. That's what you're creating in the weight room. It's about clearly getting bigger, faster, stronger, but it's also about some shared sacrifice. That's why we had a 6 a.m. run this morning. It's about, building confidence. It's about details, accountability. All those things are what wins. And so Rusty's pivotal to what we do. I'm very fortunate that he's been with me my entirety as a head coach. I'm very confident in what he does and how he does it. He's got a great staff. I think maybe one of the things Rusty and I've kidded around about a little bit is our resourcing here is different. The last place we shared a weight room with like 6 or 7 other sports. I'm not having to book the weight room around sailing now. That's kind of fun. But there's some stuff there that, man, Witt is a special human. He served our country. He was a Green Beret. He became a Green Beret at the age of, I think, 33. Like, I don't know many people that have an interest in becoming a Green Beret at the age of 23. And so I think he's uniquely wired to help build a football team. And he's all about sacrifice and serving and developing. And so I just love what he's about. He's no nonsense. He's very steady. He's very consistent. I think our guys can feel the approach already. I think they're liking it. They're gonna move weight down there. I mean, I lifted yesterday with the offensive group, and it's fun seeing the guys' energy in that room right now. I think that's, it's really fun to watch.
So a lot of great stuff there. Just hearing him talk about the relationship between the two of them. He even goes on to talk about how he kind of acquired him. Said that he was at Troy when he took the job at Troy. He goes, I was gonna fire him. I had no reason to keep him. And then he goes, I did some research. He's like, okay, this guy's pretty good. I did some research, and I was like, maybe he's not the problem. He's actually a thing that can make this thing tick. And now, obviously, here they are. And he even talks about how they can communicate without even saying anything to each other, just because of how you said. Something I found interesting too. And again, I don't know if Napier was there or not. We've never received this much transparency before about him. Like, he's like, yeah, I was with the guys this morning working out with them. I always felt like Napier was not around him for like the first 4 months of the year. Like, that's how I took the way that he kind of approached it and the way that he spoke about it. It was like, yeah, they're doing good down there. Like, they're great. I've been watching them. John's like, yeah, we're crushing. We're working out. We're running at 6 a.m. It's freaking, remember the Titans down there, boys. We're ready to rock and roll. And he's wearing orange, which is always good. It's not black. Hollywood?
Yeah, I think hearing the fact that he's lifting with the team was pretty cool. Because a lot of the time, the head coaches aren't allowed to be around the players in that time. I think you might have found a little loophole in the offseason for that. So loophole is go lift with the team. You're not doing anything. You're just getting your own workout in. While also supervising what Rusty Witt's got going on.
That's what I thought. He's not allowed to be with them, but they just happened to walk him out when I was here.
Hey, listen, he's allowed to use the facility at whatever time he wants to use it because he's the head coach. Yep. If it just so happens that it's at the same time as the team, hey, happy coincidence. But no, it was pretty cool to see and hear how he talked about how he took the job at Troy. He was like, yeah, I fully intended on firing this guy, and then did my research, and holy crap, he's really good at his job. And essentially, he'll never take another job without Rusty Witt being in a part of that. Hopefully, he doesn't take any other jobs. Hopefully, he's at Florida for the long haul, as is Rusty Witt. But yeah, very excited to hear that candidness about how he was fully planning on firing him, and then found out, hey, this is somebody I need to keep around. So it's cool to see. Like you said, the fact that we're getting this level of a peek behind the curtain from a head coach who's not scared to say exactly how he feels, let you know kind of what's going on. It is a lot of fun for us to cover, and I'm sure it's a lot of fun for fans to hear as well.
Yeah, and I'll let you go here in a minute, Dave. You were describing who he reminds us of, right? It all kind of encumbered in one, and he's still Coach John Sumrall, but even be able to crack some jokes. The joke about Tebow and being able to take advantage of suing the NCAA, getting some more eligibility, being aware of what's going on around it. But he even kind of spoke to that. He's like, look, I don't care. He's like, he goes, I'm not, and I'm like this. I'm not educated enough, so I'm not going to say something that's going to come bite me in the ass and be bulletin board material. Like, I love that. It's like, it's okay to like, hey, it is what it is. It's the name of the game. He even spoke about tampering. I mean, the way that he talked about tampering was wild. He was like, yeah, everyone's doing it. Why would they not do it? There's, and this, we say that on the show. Like I expect us to have these conversations of like nobody's getting in trouble for it. Why would anybody stop doing it? Like there's no slap on the wrist. There's no repercussions. He goes, I'm not doing it. But
I think my favorite comment throughout that whole process was how he essentially basically just said, stop complaining, find a way to make it work for you.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be, right? I'm actually excited that we might get Tim Tebow back for some eligibility, after he, I guess they put the restraining order on the NCAA like everybody else is doing. That was actually a really funny comment that he said too, but it's, I like a lot of the things that he said. There's no quarterback handed the job, special teams matter again. You just get the blunt truth, like the tampering and all that. And the one thing I really liked, and, give me a minute with this, because like, he talked about NIL, right? He talked about, there was players that we wanted, couldn't afford it because of, we didn't have enough funds or whatever. And he'll hit the booster circuits this year and hopefully get all that worked out. But it's like, I had a lot of people telling me like, hey, you're out of your mind. We have a top 10 NIL. I'm telling them, no, we don't. Like, I'm hearing this, I'm hearing that. Finally, the head coach comes out there and says it and just puts it out there. And so now I feel a little bit vindicated. Now, I won't say that report because we're not, because we kept a lot of players. We got a lot of good players in, but we're not there yet. So anybody that's out there, man, if you got some spare change, donate NIL. But other than that, man, like just everything that he said in that presser just was like a relief. It was refreshing because like with past coaches, and I'm not even going to throw Napier under the table or anything. A lot of past coaches that have came here have really filtered themselves. They've not said what's the blunt truth is out there, and he's just letting it all rip. And that's what I love. And then that's what I like the realism about John Sumrall is he's not going to let anything slip. He's not going to, he's just going to let everything go in these pressers. And you kind of got a little bit of Spurrier out of him. You got a little bit of Urban out of him. You got a little bit of Muschamp out of him. Now that's just coming from a fan standpoint. He's himself and he's going to be himself. But as a fan, you kind of saw just a little bit of everything out there.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think the way you described him, again, he kind of gave you a dose of all those guys. And he did speak to the NIL perspective and going after certain guys and not attacking certain players because of what it was financially. I don't know if he came out and said we're not a top 10 NIL, but I'll let you have your W for tonight because I still feel like we probably spent a healthy amount of money. But again, I do agree. I think we could all agree that we felt like he probably feels like, hey, my hands are still tied. Like this is the market. This is the world that we are in now. If we want to be competitive, we're going to have to adjust and make some changes. And that was something we talked about a lot too. I think the key important thing is he's not afraid to talk about it and bring it up and make it aware that, hey, if we want to be competitive, we have to do this. Again, that was another part that he was very transparent about and you said it kind of a minute ago, Connor, of if it is what it is, like he kind of said that he's like, look, like, I really don't get too caught up in the rules and whatnot. Like, this is the play at hand. We're going to be at each other's back, have each other's back, and just go through it, figure this thing out. And he says, I'm going to put a sign up in my room or my office about, like, look, just coach it. I think that was what it was. Essentially, just like, your job is to coach, develop, and work through. Nothing else matters. We can't control anything else. And I'm a big component of that. Like, control what you can control. And again, it's just that mindset is huge, right? And that when we talk about, we always hear Napier like facing adversity and going through things, and hey, we have to go through these things and learn to go through it. There's a part where you can learn to go through adversity during the adversity. Part of that is having the mindset of that, hey, when shit goes sour, it's good, right? That's when he tweets out good. It's like, good. Like, let's see what we're made of now. Let's not talk about it after the fact and adjust. No. When we're in it, good. Because now this is what we've been training for. We've been training for shit to suck. We've been training for us to be down 10 points and figuring out who the hell we are, not waiting to get to that point and go, okay, we didn't win. What did we learn, guys? No. Good. Let's go get it figured out now. And that was kind of the mindset that I picked up from it.
It's probably where good comes from.
I think so. Yeah. If I had to pick it out there. $2. So y'all excited for our goal line QB, GMFG? Yeah, that was what he was talking about. Tim Tebow coming in for some goal line stance, plowing it through there. I loved it. $5. Talk about a tone setter. I'm rewatching This Is the Swamp, and why the hell am I in tears again? Hashtag post nut cry. Oh my Lord. I love it. And then Swamp, read the text message I sent, Mister. Yeah, that's a video High Top Sports wants to see.
Oh, well, he sent you a video. Okay.
Yeah. This is what it looked. This is the text message, just so you guys are aware. That's what I'm working with here. Okay.
See, you got a bunch of code, right?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get blown up. Thanks, Devil Dog.
Call Matrix real quick. He'll code it for you. Put it on the show.
Yeah. All right. Let's. Anything else before I go to the next clip? The next clip talks about the portal attack actually and how they approached it, and then we'll discuss the quarterback discussion. And then I'll play another clip here. Anything else before I move on to that?
No.
Okay, cool.
December sign date just back to where it was. That makes a ton of sense. So then now when you have a coaching change the beginning of December, a kid's not like those kids, they signed knowing me for 48 hours, basically, like interpersonally. That's a lot of faith, man. You know, that's for what you're going to put your future in.
Once you signed those high school guys and then you figured out who was leaving, what did you sense were the biggest needs roster-wise that you wanted to hit in the portal, and how do you feel like you guys did there?
Yeah, there was some that I think we answered more resoundingly than others. You know, I still don't. I'm not fully comfortable fully assessing our roster, right? Because I've been with them for a month-ish. I still am not. I would always take more depth on the line of scrimmages, the offensive and defensive line. I would like to have maybe gotten a couple more always. So that would be one place I would start with. Like, probably could have added another piece or two on the D line in particular for numbers standpoint. I did feel like, you know, when you go to the portal, you're trying to answer maybe where you have a hole or a gap or a void. And I felt like for us, sometimes, man, it may be a frontline starter you're looking for at a certain spot. Sometimes it's a guy to compete for a job. And so I can't fully say I know exactly where we are in regards to that. Like, I think we know, but it's such a calculated risk when you're doing that. And then too, the other component that people don't realize is, like, there's a lot of guys in the portal I'd love to add, but we do have some funds that are not like endless. Like, there's a cap for us, at least at Florida. I don't know what everybody else's numbers look like, but we couldn't just say, hey, I like that player, let's go pay him X amount of dollars. You have to make the math work. And so there's some players we didn't go pursue because when you found out what it was going to cost, it's like, well, we're going to be over, like, and not just a little over, but like, and so you can't just keep adding all top end of the roster players, maybe from a value standpoint on the financial side.
So first of all, I'm going to toot my horn, Dave, because this is what I've been screaming, which people may not like it, but I was like, there is a cap. And so when we would play the GM game, I'm like, you just can't go just buy people because you want to.
There's no cap.
Now, well, see, this is where we disagree to agree. Like, Dave would just spend $4 billion per year. I do think that there's a component.
Cap.
I mean, this is where, again, like, we're splitting hairs. I mean, we can get into it if you want to go do around it. I mean,
nah, man, go ahead.
In any business, there's a cap. And I think that's where I get frustrated, where fans are like, just spend it all. So-and-so's doing it. There's plenty of businesses that are making poor financial decisions. Doesn't mean you go and do it. I still agree that would he like some more? I think this was more of a shot to people, again, bending the rules, because essentially there's supposed to be a cap, right? There is. There's supposed to be the rev share and then the NIL funds. And the NIL funds are supposed to be reported on. And there are some lawsuits happening with mismanagement of the one being an LSU, not a football player. So I think it was like a volleyball player or something. So hearing him say that was refreshing. But there's another part that I wanted to talk about. Right before that, he talks about how the recruiting staff, this class stuck together within 48 hours. And he gave all the credit. He said, they didn't commit to me. They committed to the University of Florida and Katie Turner, aka Katie Decker, and Savannah Bailey. And he goes, they were incredible. And I think that speaks volumes. And most coaches do this, but sometimes coaches will say, yeah, we came in, we did this, we did that, etc., almost bunching him into the team, where he's like, look, I had nothing to do with this. This was the staff here that did these things. And that goes a long way from a leadership perspective when you're able to hand off the fact that, hey, someone else did this, and I want them to get credit for it. Someone like this that's just coming in would love to be able to put that badge of like, I did this. Yeah, I crushed it. But no, he was very, very honest about it. Like, I had 48 hours. I didn't win this thing in 48 hours.
Stop the cap, man.
What are your thoughts, Hollywood? You think we should spend more?
Always.
I mean, yeah, the answer is yes, always. No, so I think that was a very subtle and polite way of saying we need more money. Essentially trying to rally the boosters together to help him out. Obviously, he'll be doing his booster tour over the course of the summer. Obviously, on-field results and success will help with that situation. But he said there's a cap, at least at Florida. So that's his polite way of saying, hey, we don't have unlimited funds. You want better players? Make sure that we have the money to do so. So I like that he had that like little subtle, hey, you can help out with this, to anybody that might have been watching the press conference. But I agree with you as far as the fact of you don't often see head coaches defer praise to non-on-field staffers. So you're talking about Katie Turner or Katie Decker, Savannah Bailey, who works with the Gatorade program. Obviously, Joe Hamilton's part of that group as well. I want to make sure he doesn't get lost in this as well. But yeah, they did a fantastic job of making sure that the class stayed together. Obviously, John said he watched some highlights before he talked to each of these players, talked to the parents and asked them why they were committed to Florida. A lot of it had to do with the Gatorade program, which is something that Florida has that not many or if any programs in the country have at their disposal. So huge selling point for them. So it's definitely nice to see, again, the transparency that we're getting from John on all fronts, and seeing him be a little Spurrier-esque in his press conferences where he's flat out saying, hey, we can make this happen, but we're going to need some help with it, and you can help us.
No doubt. And again, I think it was my perspective on it was a little bit of both, but obviously taking the subtle jab of needing more funds too, which, look, I love a coach that's not afraid to talk about it and put it out there. And I think that's the first step. And you say kind of go, I mean, look, we saw him at the game again with Todd Golden talking to Hugh. That wasn't by, just luck. There's coincidence. There's a reason and for everything. And I think that's what he's getting after. And again, I think there was some frustration too, because there was a lot of talk that if Lane were to get the job, we heard of the funding that would be backed. And then the Sumrall switcherooski, I think made probably people a little more reserved, if you will, on it. And rightfully so. We went from a guy that is well known and the Summerall name wasn't really being talked about. Like there was zero smoke. Like it went from Lane to they're checking second options. There was a Summerall like quick smoke screen, and there was like, yeah, that's gonna happen. Like, okay, we'll move on. Bam, he got the job. And it's like, whoa. And so I'm sure a few boosters were a bit sidetracked here. And look, I think that he's probably have done a good job of turning a lot of those guys into buyers now, but it's too late for the portal for them to be bought in. So we'll see how it translates from a recruiting perspective over the next couple of months. We had Corey Bender on for our morning show this morning. Great conversation with that. He spoke to what we can expect and how we can see how the recruiting cycle will go, but how they just attacked the month of January for getting big names on, I think speaks a lot of volumes. One, because he goes, and we talked about it, how the GMs have approached this situation. So there seems to already be money conversations happen. And he said that as well, too, that recruits prior to that, during the Napier era, they wouldn't even have like he's like one of the recruits being Isaiah Williams, the linebacker, is like, we haven't even spoke about money. We haven't even spoke about and this was like months into recruiting. And think about, and he's and Corey brought to the point, like think about Texas Tech. They've already have like 3 of the top guys from 2027 already committed. I'm pretty sure they spoke money. They didn't wait for the OV to talk about funds. Okay.
Wasn't that the kid that like flipped to like 6 different schools?
It was, yes. Yeah. Look, I'm more, you can take it with what you will, but I found the interesting point that there was no money discussed. To his credit, he committed to us without having a money conversation. So, interesting point on that regards, right? So,
yeah, I mean, the point still remains. I mean, it's just that kid had a crazy recruitment.
Very, very, very crazy. Very crazy. All right, we're going to play this little clip here, this last strand where I can't remember exactly what he talks about, but it's kind of encompasses just the entire interview in a 4 minutes segment and the kind of the culture and the mindset of where they're headed. And then we're going to talk a little bit Buster and then play a Brad clip.
Mid-year. So I've seen them the last few weeks, but initially it was very much speed dating, if you will, where it was like, man, watch a few minutes of highlights, do a FaceTime with all of them, get to know who they are interpersonally, and then figure out just kind of what they were about.
This is your third head coaching job, so obviously third brand new staff.
Yep.
How do you get a new staff to buy into everything and then translate that to all these new players, particularly with a culture that's constantly changing because of the portal?
Yeah, you have our building wired or something? Because that's what we've been doing the last 2 days. So we talked about it again this morning as a staff after our workout when we staff met at 8:30 or 8:15. We spent the last couple of days really being detailed and strategic about making sure there's alignment, an understanding of the standards. I'm huge on like your role and your job description and responsibility being very clear. I hate ambiguity. And so each person has things they're responsible for, but we're all responsible for being great teammates first. And so we all have to be bought in. Now that doesn't mean just blindly trust whatever I say. I ask them all the time, like, challenge me. If you've got great ideas or feedback, bring it up. I haven't arrived. Nobody has. And so I think you're constantly trying to get better. I told our staff when we started this process most recently, when we got off the road to kind of do some alignment calibration work, I just talked to them about, what's unique and challenging for me is my first head job at Troy had a staff of like 18 people, right? And so I was everybody's direct line of report. Then I went to Tulane and the staff size was roughly double. And then I walked in here and I'm like, there are 1 million people. All right. And that doesn't really work with me. I don't need it to be small, but it was a little bit maybe too robust for my liking, because I think when you get too big, are you doing enough work? Are you bored? Like, I want to stay busy. I don't want people around the building like twiddling their thumbs trying to figure out, like, what do I do now? Well, if you have to think about what I do now, you probably don't have enough on your plate. Like, because I don't have any time to go, well, what should I do right now? So I want our guys everybody in the building to be busy and occupied and working. But I think I think cohesion is so important. There's a quote by G.K. Chesterton: "The true soldier doesn't fight for what's across from him, but he fights for what's behind him." I want us to be connected and care about each other and fight for each other and bring it every day and have each other's back. We're going to be in a foxhole at times. It ain't always going to be good. We might, like, I hate to break it to you, I'm undefeated right now. We might lose a game here. But when it goes sideways, do you flinch? Are you so outcome driven that you don't weather that storm? We're going to weather storms here, and we're going to do it because we're aligned and we got each other's back.
I mean, just absolutely juiced after hearing that. A couple things. One, I loved hearing him talk. I consider it organized chaos, where you shrink the roles a little bit and everyone's kind of constantly reaching, right? Everyone's hungry. Like, did I do enough? You can get to the point where you have too many people where things get dropped, the ball gets dropped because you're like, oh, I thought so-and-so was doing it. Oh, well, I thought so-and-so was doing it. You have 4 people to do one job and nobody's doing it. And it's kind of, it's weird hearing him talk about it. We obviously know that Napier had a big staff, and it felt like nobody always, there always seemed to be like some separation, right? It just felt like there wasn't a cohesion, if you will, like he just said, happening. And hearing him talk about, again, just the foxhole mentality, having each other's backs, again, the transparency about, hey, we may lose a game. Like, this is tough road. Like, nobody wants to hear it, but it's the truth. Like, it's not even, and some people are like, oh, he's a loser, he's admitting to defeat. It's like, that's life, bro. You're going to lose some days, okay? It's about how you respond. It's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you get hit and you respond to it. Something like that. But I loved it. That quote had me fired up for sure.
I like with him, there's not like, well, maybe we'll look into it. He's like, no, that's what's going to happen. There's no question about it. I like the mentality that he has with like towards everything. And I thought it was funny, man. And he's talking about like all the staff members that were here. And I don't know how many times, between me, Connor, everybody that I've talked to, we were like, why do we have all these people for? Nothing's getting done. Like, we had a guy that was specifically hired to watch the transfer portal. And I think we had a couple of people that was specifically hired to watch the transfer portal. It took forever just to get a kid on campus with Billy Napier. So, like, I get where, I guess having a bunch of staff and a quote unquote army sounds good on paper, but when you have too many cooks in the kitchen, what's getting really done? Like, I mean, there's probably 2 or 3 people working, and then like there's 10 that are just twiddling their thumbs. You don't need to hire all that. Like, that's just a waste of money at that point. So I get where he's coming from. It's like, it can be a distraction when people aren't doing anything and you got like 2 or 3 other people doing something and it gets confusing. But when you simplify things, a lot of stuff gets done.
Hollywood?
Yeah, it sounds like he's trying to streamline everything. Like you said, Dave, too many cooks in the kitchen, you start losing recipes. And that is something that I think, as you already said, was a big complaint about the previous staff. It's like he hired all these people, but you're not seeing the results of those people, or what are these people doing? And Sumrall kind of, again, very politely said, we've got too many people in this building that don't know what they're doing, or that not necessarily don't know what they're doing, but don't have enough to do. And when you're walking around trying to find something to do, you're not being productive. And the enemy of progress is lack of productivity. So John's not going to let that slide. I think the biggest thing that I took away kind of from that clip, or what I saw in that clip, was in an industry with which college football coaching is, and the egos that come with it, is the humility of John to say, hey, we're going to bounce stuff off each other. I want my coaches and staffers to challenge me so that we can bounce ideas off each other, improve, constantly get better. Doesn't believe in just blind trust, because he said point blank, I have not arrived. I mean, buddy, you're the head coach at the University of Florida. You've arrived.
That also speaks to the haters saying like, oh, why are you wearing the logo? He kind of just answered it. Like, he told you, like, look, you have to wear the logo if you're the head coach. Like, you'd be an idiot to not walk around with it. Like, what are you good, bro? Like, what are you doing? Like, you want to be seen. Like, you wear orange. You walk into a room, utilize the colors, the energy, what Stephen Harris and I always talk about. But for him to say that in front of everybody, vulnerable, like, I haven't earned anything yet. Okay, well, he just told all the people that were bitching and complaining about, like, oh, why are you wearing the logos, coach? You can put that in your nostril and blow it out your nose. All right. So, love that. Great stuff there. Boys and girls, this show is brought to you by Prize Picks, and the big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in and during America's biggest game event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Big game max discount. This week, Prize Picks has a special max discount for the big game live in the app now. Drake May just needs one passing yard, just one, for the max discount to win. Just add another player to your lineup, and if your picks hit, you can cash in. Something again I talk about every single time we talk about Prize Picks. One of my favorite features is I call them the Slut 'em Stack 'ems. You're able to use one player for multiple picks, so you can take the freebie of Drake May to have more than half a passing yard, and then throw in the little green goblin there, which usually means like it's a favorable pick for more than half a passing touchdown yard for Drake May. Well, now you got 2 for 1. You could essentially, I think you still have to have a different player, but then you go to Kenneth Walker to have more than a rushing or receiving touchdown, and now you're cooking with gas right now, okay? Those are three toss-up ones. I like to get do-si-do with that thing. 4, 5, 6. Cooper Kupp for more than 1.5 or 7. I mean, they're just giving stuff away. Now, the Green Goblins, they don't pay out as much because they're Green Goblins, all right? You got the Red Little Devil that pays a little more. Those things are a little dicey. So play around with it. Get after it. Have fun with it. Find your community on Prize Picks. With the new social feed feature, you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups from winners with a single click. Copy lineups you like, use them for inspiration or for your own picks. You can even follow Prize Picks partners like us and tail or fade our Prize Picks with just one clip. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code HIGHTOP to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code HIGHTOP to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our sponsor for today's show. Be sure to check them out. Prize Picks. Huge shout out to them for being partnered with us for damn near the whole season. Now, let's get into this. Brad White spoke about the defense, and we'll get to Buster here in just a moment. But Brad, we spoke about the defensive line on Monday. Stephen Harris and I did, because a lot of people were kind of panicked. And Sumrall approached that concern that he would have liked also, which we were kind of clamoring. We would have loved to have some more depth on the trenches. So glad he watches the show. He understands it. Sometimes you don't get what you want, but good. You lean into it and just go figure out, go work with the guys that you have.
Good.
Brad White talks about how this defense is going to look, a team that typically is a 3-4 guy. And I had the thought process myself. I brought this up on Monday no, I'm just kidding. Steve Harris is about to rip his hair out. Steve told us what he thought this defense would look like and why he wasn't concerned, because he was expecting it to be more of a 4-down front type of feature. I'll leave it at that, and we'll let Mr. Brad White take the mic, and y'all see if Mr. Harris was on the ball again or slipped up.
It's far more challenging, but at the end of the day, you still have to be able to stop the run. Now, if you can stop the run with some light boxes and cover up the pass, like, you're going to be in good shape.
Break down your 3-4 scheme a little bit and how you want to defend in the front seven.
Yeah, I will say this. We are a 3-4 team, no different than like the Indianapolis Colts were, quote, 3-4. It's way more 4 down than it is 3-4. Does that make sense? There's 3-4 under principles, right? Where we're going to set the 3 technique. You'll play with some 4 linebacker type looks, but a lot of 4-3 sort of principles where that boundary jack backer will be just essentially a D end. I think we've got guys up front, and we'll see in pads. From what I've seen from their mentality, like, we'll be able to play 4 down and jump into 3, and give multiple looks. I think that's part of the key these days, is that offenses are so well trained that if you give them a singular look, they understand where the leverage points are. They'll destroy you. But if you can move, where the bubble is, if you can move where the 3 technique is, and that's the beauty of, hey, playing some 3 down front, they don't know which way it's going to go. But make no mistake, we're going to get down in some 4 down stuff and let those guys go.
So a couple of things he said there. This is essentially what Stephen Harris was talking about, why he wasn't concerned that we may not need the size like we all thought we would, because we're going to be more in that 4 down front where these guys will split out and allow for the linebackers to fill in the gaps, which is exactly what he was talking about, right? And again, mixing it up. That was what intrigued me more, where he spoke about mixing it up, because we heard Buster talking about being adaptable. if you watched our film breakdown with Seth Farnador and we talked about what makes Buster's offense so potent is because the defense can't align to their strength. They have to line up neutral. And so when you have to line up neutral, you have to be prepared for the offense. You're not in control. The offense is in control. And so when the offense can go 3 different directions and you can't tell by the way they're lined up which direction they're leaning to, which Florida that we always knew where they were going, it's hard to line up. That's why Georgia struggled with it. You can get away with you can overcome those things with a talented and well-coached football team, is why Georgia's given, obviously, that game's always been fun to watch, Georgia Tech and Georgia for the last couple of years. But hearing him understand that also, too, because defense have strengths, and that's where and weaknesses, and Buster tries to attack those weaknesses. That's how he runs his offense. We talked with Seth about it. So then I hear him saying he's trying to do the exact opposite. I don't want you to know what we're showing you. I don't want you to see where the weakness is. And I can only imagine the two of these guys scheming shit up with one another. Like it's just a combustion of like, who's going to outsmart who, right? Like who's going to surprise the other guy. And I don't know. I just loved hearing the fact that there isn't this one Stone Cold Steve identity of here's how we're going to go. We're going to be the best at it. And we've heard that for the last 4 years. So will this work? I don't know. But it is nice to hear a different approach. And that's why I think there's going to be a lot more hype and hope heading into the season, because we are being fed an entire new spoonful of sugar. Could it be bad sugar? It damn very may white. Well, it could be. Sorry, the sugar got me all tongue-tied up there. But for now, we're hearing a lot of the good things, a lot of good stuff. Thoughts, boys?
A little bit of sugar, a little bit of honey.
A little bit of sugar.
Yeah, I mean, it's situational football, right? You're running 4-3, 3-4. I mean, it's all that's what you want from a coach, right? Like a coach knows what he's doing when he plays situational football. And we've heard situational football a lot in a lot of pressers. You're switching it up based on down and distance and, 4th down, 3rd down, time in the game. I mean, yeah, it's going to mix you up as, I guess, as one of the guys like Stephen Harris, right? Like where he told you one thing and then somebody else told you another. But it's kind of like what Buster Faulkner is, like you said, is running his offense. It's a situational thing. Buster throws all sorts of tons of things at you. And it's going to be a big playbook, I would assume, because, I mean, a lot of these kids are going to have to learn it. They're going to have to probably move faster than they did with Billy Napier. There's not going to be a lot of hands on hips, which I like. And, it sounds very, very interesting. Of course, you got to execute and it's got to look good and everything else. And it sounds good on paper. But I think, with these off-season workouts and the way that, Sumrall's talking. And look, man, I watched a lot of the Tulane team. And granted, they were out-talented in some games. And, you're not going to load up on talent at a place like Tulane. But I watched some of these games with some of these defensive players, and they move, and they're ready to go. And maybe the tackling was a little bit bad when I watched it sometimes, but that's going to come when you're playing a team like Ole Miss and you're Tulane, right? You're going to miss tackles. You're not going to be able to outrun certain players because they have more talent than you. It's very, very interesting to me because now Buster Faulkner and Brad Davis and all that, they're going to have better talent. Oh, Brad White, my bad. Brad White, they're going to have better talent. And it's, you watch those Georgia Tech games and you watch Georgia. Granted, those games, Georgia Tech didn't come out on top. They had way less talent. I think they had like a 34th ranked talent profile. Georgia had like a number 1 or 2. Those games were close. A lot of them went into a lot of overtimes. I think it was like 6 overtimes the last time, time before they played. And then it was like 16-6, I think, last year. It's pretty, it was a 10-point game. So it goes to show you that not only does Buster Faulkner's like offensive scheme kind of work, it keeps some of the offenses off the field as well. But also, what, Brad did at Kentucky, right? I mean, they shut us down plenty of times and they had way less talent than us. Yeah, they made it hell on us. So it is really good to see that he's going to have a plethora more of talent than he did at Kentucky and more talent that Faulkner did at Georgia Tech.
John spoke to his team at Tulane too, because he spoke about like there being 62 guys that kept. They brought in 50 guys, put them like 112. When he was at Tulane, he talked about the retention that they had going into this past year. He goes, "We kept a safety, a linebacker, a defensive lineman, and two offensive linemen. We kept 5 guys, and they went and went undefeated." And obviously won a championship and made it to the playoffs with retaining 5 dudes Now, he did have the second portal window, which he said he liked. But let's transition into Buster Faulkner a little bit, and I'll let you guys kind of talk about this a little bit more. But Sumrall spoke about the quarterbacks, which we heard Buster talk about them. But again, the way that John spoke about, again, him trusting in Philo because that was Buster's guy. But then he immediately spun it with, but look, I also was willing to trust him because of what we had with Trammell. I also knew that we were in a pretty good place with Trammell Jones and Will Griffin. He's like, there is no starting quarterback for the Florida Gators. It is wide open. And I know people like to kind of joke on the internet of like, it's Aaron Philo's job to lose, or it's Aaron Philo's. He was told that. That's why he come here. Why would he leave a starting gig? But I challenge you with this is that Chip Kelly's there. He wasn't guaranteed to be the starting quarterback. It's a whole new offense. And I don't be shocked if they wouldn't have gone after, again, they got the Mendoza kid. I don't know if they would have approached him if that were the case, but I'm sure they probably would have been attacking the transfer portal for a quarterback because Philo would have been unknown in that new system. If I'm Chip Kelly, I'm like, I'm not trusting my entire livelihood on this kid that I have with 3 stars. I don't know who he is. So when people are like, oh, he was guaranteed a job. No, he wasn't. I don't believe that he was. He probably had a head start. Like he probably has a little bit of a head start here, but he felt like, hey, this guy's the one that's groomed me, recruited me, worked with me. I feel like I have a better shot there if I am the guy to go play for the system and the quarterback or the coach that recruited me versus someone who at that point, they had no clue who was coming in. No clue who was coming in. But Hollywood, I'll let you kind of take the reins here on Buster and things you liked of what he said today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the first question that kind of got thrown at him was, what do you think Philo does well and why did you bring him over here? And he was very complimentary of his ability to handle pressure, specifically third down passing and 2-minute drill. Referenced both the Miami game and NC State game, both which they won with Aaron Philo playing a big role in those wins as a true freshman. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Again, they reiterated the fact that it is an open QB competition. They both really like what they have in Trammell and Aaron Philo. And I think the biggest thing that Florida fans are going to love is he said he's going to get the ball to his playmakers. We're talking about a dynamic group of wide receivers. You're talking about a running back room with Jaden Baugh as well as Evan Pryor, who both were mentioned by name in the press conference, that are going to be some of the top offensive weapons in the country. But Buster Faulkner was very adamant about, hey, we've got guys, mentioned Derek Singleton, mentioned VB3, mentioned Dallas Wilson, as well as the other guys that they brought in through the portal. I think he mentioned Micah Mays. He mentioned Bailey Stockton, about guys that, hey, we're going to find a way to get them the ball and make defenses tackle. And that's something that's been missing at the University of Florida, is just scheming ways to get guys open in space, because the athletes are there, and being adaptable and being able to force defenses to adjust to what you're doing and not the other way around is something that Buster Faulkner does extremely well, and something that I'm very excited to see in the Swamp coming up.
All right, Chip Kelly is not at Georgia Tech. He interviewed for Georgia Tech. I forgot he went to Northwestern. But I don't know how I dropped the ball on that one.
You said that once already. I was like, in my head, I was like, no.
Well, I'm pretty sure like he was like,
I believed you because you said it with so much confidence.
Well, he was a shoe. I remember like the graphic popping up, and I was like, damn, that's a hell of a replacement. And then I do remember him getting the Northwestern job, going, what? So they promoted within, from the looks of it, or they brought back a former Georgia Tech quarterback and George Godsey. So not quite the punch, but he brings 15 years of NFL experience. We're here to talk about Georgia Tech, but either way, my point still stands. You had a new guy coming in. All right. Whether it was Chip Kelly or anyone else or Brian Kelly, you know what I mean? Whoever the hell was calling plays was going to be different than Buster Faulkner.
It's okay. I said Brad Davis earlier. So.
Yeah, I think that was, we're both, it's one. I think one perfect tonight is Hollywood. So yeah, I saw this, this comment here. Brad White said, you can't play in this defense if you've got a shot to inflict some damage and you don't take it. That was exactly what we were talking about last night with our Monday night with Stephen Harris, of like, if you're gonna hit somebody and get a penalty for you better level to some bitch. All right. Like, you're gonna get it regardless. Hit somebody.
How many corners did we have?
Brother, Brother, don't even get me, brother. If then some bitches are 5 yards off the ball on the goal line, I'm popping heads. Okay, I'm gonna flick some paint on somebody. You feel me? I was the way
I used to see Ahmad Black get so mad at like DBs just not taking the shot.
the way that this man spoke about special teams, John Sumrall, he even spoke. Oh, I forgot we didn't talk about this. The way that he spoke about how he's going to manage, like chirp in, right, with defense or helping on the offense. He's like, look, I'm going to be more hands-on with special teams. Like, that's my bread and butter. I'm going to be in those rooms. I'm going to be in all the rooms providing advice, but this is their job. That's what they're going to do. But he spoke to what I loved. He's like, yeah, on defense, he's like, look, I'll know what we're going to call going in. I'm not going to say, hey, here's what we should do. I'll know what's going on. So I'll chirp into Mike, like, hey, I want to see this. Hey, let's try this real quick. What horned me up, I'm just telling you right now, he's like, and then on the offense, he's like, I'll just see what the defense is doing and go, hey, here's what they're doing. Try this. I'm like, brother, listen, that's like, I don't know what, like, it's like, these are what we were always asking for. Like, I feel like Napier was always like keeping, like, I'm like, yo, all right, keep in the bag. Don't want anybody to know. John's like, this is what I'm going to do. If y'all go out there and throw some shit, I'm going to figure out what you're doing. I'm going to tell my OC what's happening. We're going to slice and dice your ass. Like, there ain't no secrets here. That's what I'm doing. Which, I mean, obviously that's probably nothing new, but this just shows you how far we've come in 3 months. Okay.
Yeah.
We've made strides, boys. We've made strides. Speaking of Buster, back to Buster and his presser, what I loved, where his identity of adaptability comes from, is the way that he was raised. So he spoke about him playing at high school and through college and coaching. And he's like, look, I couldn't throw the ball 10 yards on the football field. I could just throw it left and right. But we figured out how to win with that. And so that's how I know is that I played with offenses that could throw 4,000 yards a year. And then I also played in an offense where I couldn't throw, but I was the quarterback. And we had to make do with what we had and win football games. So it's not like it's a gimmicky thing that he's trying to implement. It's no, this is who I am. I'm here to win a football game. And however that sees fit is what I'm going to do. And I love that. Because again, it's complete. Again, will this spoonful of sugar, will it work? I don't know, but it tastes sweet right now. And I'm slurping it down, slurping it down.
It reminds me of that song, Sugar, we're going down swinging.
That's a great song. You didn't say it right, but
probably not. I'm bad with song lyrics, dude.
No, you sing the song with the wrong tone. My son give me crap. He'll be singing the Baby Beluga, and I'll sing. He's like, Dad, you're not doing it right. My brother,
I have too deep.
You and your mom do this song, okay? I'm doing just cut me some slack, and he doesn't. So I'm not gonna cut you any slack for
whose mom?
Sugar, huh?
Whose mom?
His mom, my wife, David. $5. Put the SEC on notice. Stand by to get some. We got a home. We hit a home run. Great show. Love y'all. Congrats on your success. Thank you, Junior. Thanks, you for the super chats tonight as well, too, man. But a lot of great stuff. Today. And look, the only reason we got this presser today, I'm pretty sure because it's National Signing Day, which that's, like, you're supposed to have a National Signing presser where you talk about all the big signees. But he goes, look, like, what did he call it? I can't remember what he said. It's something about this isn't National Signing Day, it's National Starting Day or something like that. Because he even spoke to he spoke to recruiting a little bit too about, he goes, look, we have put our boots on the ground in Florida. We're going to start here in Florida, which I think a lot of fans loved hearing. He goes, we have a few top priority guys. That was something else that the pass regime did. A lot of our core guys came from Texas and Alabama and Mississippi. Like we still didn't capitalize on the talent that's literally in our backyard. I mean, think about the guys that went up north or went to Texas that were right here, which helps with just retaining, I would imagine, being closer to home. Look, there's talent all over the country. Don't get it twisted. But hearing him realize, like, yeah, I'm in the recruiting, capital of the world. Like, I don't need to fly around. Like, I can get everything. I can hit 19 schools in 4 days in 4 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Faulkner did give a little bit of insight as to their recruiting process for Jaden Baugh, though. He did say they did some cut-ups. They went into Jaden Baugh's house, told him exactly who they think, like NFL players, that they thought his game kind of mirrored and how they were going to help grow his game for the next level. I don't know if anybody caught that or anybody noticed, but they told Jaden Baugh that they saw a little Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley in his game and wanted to expand him in the passing game. So I'm excited to see that.
So if you hear Chris McCaffrey, you think just bell cow. Like, I'm just thinking we are going to run the offense through you. Saquon, I feel more kind of elusive, back catching, explosiveness. But when I hear Christian McCaffrey, that just means we see ball, we give ball, you run ball. Okay, that's it. Then nothing else. And if you think that, then Aaron Philo is your Brock Purdy. Okay, that's what you're working with. Listen, do with what you will. That if that's what they're telling them, that's what I'm picking up. We got a Ricky P, we got a Jawan Jennings, Debo from last year, George Kittle. We got 19 tight ends. Give me Dupree, the white tight end we got. The couple, I'm just saying, maybe we're the baby 49ers. I wouldn't hate it. Them boys know how to win football games.
There's a lot of restraining orders they can put on the NCAA right now. We can see if any of these people have eligibility. Just saying.
I think Percy's still got a year of eligibility.
It looks like 1 minute ago, breaking news. Let me go ahead and pull this over onto the screen here, boys. You guys ready for this? What do you guys think it is?
Trinidad Chambliss does not deny the 6th year.
All right, Counter. You don't have to be like that about it, dude. I mean, like, we're just... Trinidad Chambliss denied his 6th year. So it looks like Lane will get the last laugh on that one. Yeah, the last one we're waiting on is Joey Aguilar. I'd imagine his would follow suit. No. Oh, wait. Has been granted a temporary restraining order against the NCAA. What the hell does that mean?
Who, Joey has?
Yeah.
I mean, that just means they're going to revisit later. Yeah, the TRO is similar to the Charles Bediako situation in basketball, where they have to revisit it at a later date, but during that time period, he is eligible to resume activities.
Oh, he is eligible. I took it as he's restraining orders. He's not allowed to.
No, essentially, they're restraining the NCAA from preventing him from.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, that's like the Charles Bediako situation where he's allowed to play in these games because there is a temporary restraining order, but there is I think it's still February 6th hearing to determine his final eligibility status.
Well, I assume if the Trinidad was denied, you have to follow suit, right?
I would think so. Yes.
Okay, I got some advice. Okay, if you're applying for an extra year of eligibility and you're like 24, 23, 25, you have to
put your resume on Indeed.
Yeah, you have a degree from an accredited college. You can get a good job, guys. It's not hard to work. I've worked every day since I was 18. Like it's not that hard. Like
if you could get one more year of eligibility, Dave, you would ask for it too. All right.
I mean, if I've already got like $10 million,
that NIL deal is going to be significantly higher than whatever he's making first year salary.
Are we past this 6-year, 7-year thing? Because I always felt like it was the COVID thing that caused for this weird loophole, but I feel like we got to be well past that now. I mean, we're 6 years.
These guys that are doing this are applying for JUCO waivers, saying that their JUCO time should not count towards their NCAA eligibility because it's not an NCAA Division I program.
Well, they call it junior college for a reason.
Oh no, I don't disagree with you, Dave. I'm just saying that's what's being
I thought they did
argued.
pass the law though, where like your career it doesn't start until then. I thought they just passed one.
Maybe I really couldn't tell you. I know it's been in process, but you're talking about guys that have been at the Division I level before that passed. So they're having to apply for waivers. Though.
That is an interesting loophole if you played at JUCO because. Yeah, I don't know how to take it. I mean, I get Dave's point.
It could be worse. College. It could be worse, Shelton. Miami has a linebacker coming back for his 8th year. So,
that's true.
Like their tight end from last year.
Yeah, like the 9th year tight end, they have an 8th year linebacker next season. So,
yeah, more moral victories. Love it.
Could you imagine, bro? Like Van Wilder used to be like an icon. You know what I mean? Like we talked about him as a legend, like 7 years in college partying. And now it's just a common thing now. Like it's not even cool anymore. It's weird.
Guys better have their doctorates by the time they leave school.
It's cooler to only have 2 years of college experience now. You know, I feel like that's going to be the new wave. How quick can I get out of this place?
I'm calling Will Greer. Get him back.
He's got to have some time left, dude.
He doesn't have any eligibility left.
You know what? I think due to the Flintstone vitamin scandal, I think he's due an extra year.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, I made a comment. I go, the greatest Florida quarterback of all time, and somebody in the comments just absolutely ripped me. They're like, that was extremely disrespectful that you said that. I'm like, sarcasm is dead, even though that was the most factual statement that I've ever said in my entire life.
What happened
God
with
forbid I
jokes?
have a little bit of fun. You know,
Nobody likes jokes anymore. They
no,
just don't. Everybody's got to be
tough.
serious.
My Twitter
these
gets
days.
There needs to
roasted.
be
I
a
got to be careful.
sarcasm font.
Yeah, maybe that's what I need on Twitter. Like a sarcasm font would hit like crack, dude.
Yeah,
Mark Scott's entire Twitter would just be just the sarcasm font. Like he wouldn't be able to have a serious.
He would
tweet.
need a sarcasm keyboard.
Speaking
Yeah.
of Mark, man, he got to tour the new facility this week. I mean,
Yeah, how are we turning over a new leaf and we're just letting bimbos like him walk around the stadium is beyond me. Like, what are we doing, John? Unreal. Like that's gonna be question number one when we have him on in 2 weeks. Is like,
He got a
how
graphic
do-
made.
this
Yeah.
guy doesn't even have hair. How does he? You just let just anybody just walk around like, he had a graphic made. Gross.
Yeah, had a graphic made. I mean, he just walks around with muscles, thinks he's the new strength and conditioning coach. You know?
Yeah, John needs to rehire the people that he fired because we need more security. All right, you're just letting any bimbo walk around taking pictures with that Gatorade. It ain't cool. Boys, great show. A lot of great discussion. I always feel like we get lucked out on Wednesdays. Something happens on the best day of the week. David Jr., our baseball guy, couldn't make it tonight, which worked out. We had plenty to talk about. He'll be here next week to promote the baseball channel. His channel has surpassed the NASCAR channel, so I may or may not have him on due to that. So we'll see where we are next week. But we will have him on to talk baseball because we're in the middle of it. Basketball is hot and steamy and rolling, so we'll have that to talk about next week as I play A&M on Sunday, which is a big-time matchup for determining the SEC champion, if you will. So y'all be good, be safe, have a great Wednesday. Tomorrow morning, we're posted to a call-in show. It's tentative, but if you want to hop in, we'll be live at 7. Y'all be good. Hollywood, Swolder, Shelton. Peace and love, boys.
Sports where the takes don't miss. The prof with the stats, the champ with the fist. Water bringing fire, cowboys out riding bold. Bulls calling bets, watch the stories unfold. And you truly